Welcome to Cyber Unbound's podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us. We have Mr. Aditya Shende, popularly known as KongSec. Mr. Aditya has been a real ethical hacker. He has been a cybersecurity researcher. He has worked with numerous companies to find their threats and vulnerabilities. He is also very highly ranked on Bug Crowd as a bug bounty hunter. So, Mr. Aditya, it's truly a pleasure to have you today with us on Cyber Unbound podcast, and welcome to this episode.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Mr. Aditya, let's start from the beginning. So, what actually inspired you to get into cybersecurity, and why did you choose bug bounty hunting as your specialization?
Right. So basically, when I started, it was like maybe on my seventh or eighth grade, and just like hack keyword is pretty curious for me, like how to hack this, how to hack that, and usually we used to get like the scratchers to get the internet recharge or something. But then I found like this is not enough because I would need a GB data and the MB is not pretty enough. So I started routing the phones and checking like how I can penetrate the Wi-Fi. Then I shifted to the groups on the Facebooks that used to give challenges for SQLi, XSS, and all those. So on the ninth, till the ninth, I was like properly cooked to have some hands-on experience. And after that, I started like doing the bug bounties. When friend told me like you can get paid on this, so I said like okay, let's give a shot. And this is how it worked out. And the beginning is very important because if you have the curiosity, then only things will happen in your own way. Or else, like if you just run for the money, it's never gonna work. Because I see a lot of bug bounty hunters which are new. They are started. They are just they want the money. Yes, everybody wants the money, but the point is like you need to be very curious and how you should focus and how you should study on yourself. That would be pretty enough for making a lot of good bunch of money.
Right. So, I think you mentioned that bug bounty hunting is much more deeper than just earning money and reward, right?
Right.
Let's go a little bit deeper into that aspect.
Mhm.
According to you, what makes a bug bounty hunter a good bug bounty hunter than a bad bug bounty hunter?
So there is just one thing I would say, just the consistency, and that's pretty everything. Even if you uh, not necessary to have like all knowledge of all the vulnerabilities and all the things, but only if you are very consistent, like daily, if you are reporting maybe two or three reports, or maybe finding small or big vulnerabilities, but just you need to find it. It doesn't matter the category, severity, what you are doing. But if you're throwing 100 balls, if you're throwing 100 stones, one will hit, and that would be pretty cool. So consistency is like the good thing I would say for the bug bounty hunter, or else like it's not for you, or you can just say like okay, that's it. I don't think so. It's built for me. So better it's have a good consistency, and that's how you process and just keeping your health pretty nice. Not to run behind the money all the time. So that's the main part.
Right. So I've seen that a lot of bug bounty hunters, a lot of vulnerability researchers, they always take inspiration from your write-ups. They take inspiration from the findings which you put out on LinkedIn and other social media.
Right.
I want to know what was your first major vulnerability which you found, which you were really proud of, and you were like, "Oh my God! I mean, I've actually accomplished something big." What was that first vulnerability?
So the first, which I found, obviously, the first bounty is pretty nice, even if it's a low or big. So after starting doing professionally big bounties, after 10 months, I got my first bounty, which was $150. And the big one, which is like a wow. So that was like $10,500. So it was big for me. And at a young age, like 20, 19, if you are having this kind of money, you get like a crazy, like, what should I do with this kind of money? So that was like totally taking over the admin, doing the code execution, like chaining of a lot of vulnerabilities, and then reporting. So I was not expecting. I was expecting like maybe thousand or $2,000, but they said like okay, 10,000 for the bounty and 500 for the bonus. I said like okay, that's pretty cool. I can do this more. So then again, I started more and more. But after all that, that was the big wow moment for me as a web bounty hunter. And it was a very simple vulnerability, not doing anything special. Many people will think like, what's going on, what he's talking about. It's just the authentication bypass, taking the admin, uploading the shell by abusing the upload functions, and that's it. That's what I've done.
Right. So I think you mentioned that this vulnerability was very simple, right? I think there are
Mhm.
a lot of these students and a lot of professionals who want to become a bug bounty hunter. So
Mhm.
according to you, do you think a path of a student pursuing OSCP or for example even the certified bug bounty hunter certification from Hack the Box is a good path because it's too costly? Or should they focus more on real world skills? Or for example do a master's which you did? I mean, what
Yeah.
path do you suggest?
Frankly speaking, I would just stay like I stayed in UK for 1.5 year. I enjoyed it. I know I got the degree. That's it. There are a lot of platforms. There are a lot of things which is publicly available. Even individually, I do provide the training. But in that cases, like I would say, like I'm in this field from last 9 years, and really I'm saying like I just did the trainings for CH and RSCSA and all those things, but which is available on the internet. You can just read it out, not an issue. But individually, I don't have any kind of certification in cybersecurity, just the one master's degree which I got. And I will still say, okay, I learned a lot, but in that case, I would say like only the real world skills can help you, because everything you see like doing the course maybe which is on the box on the that's a limited environment, like it's so vulnerable, you have the solutions already. But when you go to the real world, it might feel like if you are going for a cross-site scripting vulnerability, you might end up with the SQLi or might end up with the SSRF. So you never know what is the next thing will happen. So it's better to have the real-time experience, and that is pretty much I would say like helpful for everyone.
Right. So because you have worked with numerous companies before, if you would
Mhm.
have seen HDFC Bank, even Tata Motors, all of them
Right.
are doing bug bounty programs for their own company and products. Even Boat is doing these days bug bounty
Right.
hunting. And bug bounty has actually exploded in terms of popularity in recent years. So do you
Right.
think companies should focus on giving out bug bounty programs, or should they focus on building their own red teaming teams? I mean, within their organizations. What's your take on it?
So individual, it's my personal opinion. I would say that having the bug bounty program is very, very necessary, but they should be loyal to the researchers also. So I have seen many hacks, I have seen many data breaches, and most of them were from insider threats. So it's not totally trustable to everything. So what we are expecting, if your company is like making 500 millions, if your company is making maybe 1 billion, so if researcher found a bug, and then why not to pay like $1,000, $2,000 or whatever worth it is. So instead of like going to the VDPs, many companies are there, like they are making hell lot of money and they are not paying to the researchers. So after some time, there is a mentality of researcher that that day the villain has been created. So might possible that bug bounty hunter can get into some different things. He don't want to disclose about it, but he wanted to take the revenge. So instead of that, just be loyal to you, the researchers, which is from external. They are just giving you the good reports. Make sure you appreciate. But absolutely, they have their compliance and the audit, so they will be doing their internal penetration testing also. But I'm just thinking like from all those years, like how it can be managed into a transparency and how it can be validated. So this question is still in the industry, and but my more focus will be on the bug bounties, because I know the people who start from the scratch, they know each and every things, so what they wanted to do. But the people who are into corporates, what they are doing, they have the checklist, they have to follow some sort of list. But in the case of hunters, they are like they know what has to be extracted and what is useful for the company. So yeah, the uh, bug bounty policy would be great.
Right. And because AI is transforming how cybersecurity is functioning these days, it's transforming the entire threat landscape. Do you think AI will replace bug bounty hunters soon?
Um, I would say like it's going pretty well. So instead of like replacing the researchers or the hunters or the people in cybersecurity, they should start doing the collab with the AI, using the AI. And after all, everything is made up by the humans. AI did not make the humans. Humans made the AI. So end of the day, I do believe like humans are pretty smart because they have built it. If someone knows how to build something, they know how to destroy it. So better just follow the path, take the collaboration with the AI. And basically AI is more helping into like the time consumption is getting less. You can do the automations, you can do everything, but I don't think so the AI will do the technical logical exploitation, which is business logical exploitation, like the human's brain. So just do the collaboration. That would be pretty nice. But I'm not saying like AI will replace the humans. Humans are humans. That's what I can say.
Right. So you mentioned that AI could be used as a tool to
Mhm.
enhance the bug bounty report or probably reduce the number of days it takes to do bug bounty hunting.
Right.
So, are there any AI security tools which you would like to recommend your bug bounty hunting followers and your community members? I know one of the tools, AI Pentest Copilot from Bugbase, but do you know any other such tools which other people can use?
Yeah. So in that cases, I do use a Chat GPT because I was like researching over the DeepSeek, and I know like what's going on. So basically, my preference is Chat GPT, and there is a one bot which is created by Jason Haddix, which is Akram Cybersecurity bot, and there is another which I use, which is for the threat intelligence bot, which can be found into exploring GPTs. So these two bots would be pretty nice because they have a lot of good resources, and mostly I do use it for the automation. So these two things are pretty cool. Just go for it.
Right. And I think you had also mentioned that how companies should remain loyal to their researchers, right? What happens is that a lot of companies do have their bug bounty listed, like bug bounty programs listed on websites like Bugcrowd or Bugbase, and some of the
Mhm.
companies don't have, where researchers they email companies the vulnerability and they expect them to pay some bounty.
Right.
Now, for people who are going one step ahead and researching and finding vulnerabilities on those websites which have
Mhm.
not formally listed any kind of bug bounty hunting programs, how you as a researcher maintain ethical sense of hacking and finding vulnerabilities in these websites? I mean, how can one maintain ethical logic for it?
So there is a one tap rule, which is if you go beyond the policy or maybe which is not aligning with the ethical processes, there is always one part which is you knock the door first,
Right.
and that's what you need to do. So instead of just sending the report or asking like do you have monetary compensation or something like that, better if you want to really secure the organization, then better to ask like I found the vulnerability and I do believe I can be helpful for this research. Apart from that, and just tell them like should I proceed or where should I report. So basically, they will be knowing, okay, he's trying to take the permission, she's trying to take the permission, then only to proceed. Okay, if they don't reply, I would say like, don't report to them. That just be in your line because the moment you cross the line, might end up in a jail. Because I've seen some of the exploits which are very dangerous because bug bounty is like very fancy name, but in the realities, if you see the exploits, what people are doing, like doing the IDORs, doing the API exploration, where they can retrieve a lot of bunch of data, like millions of users' data, that's literally a data breach, as represented as the using the vulnerability exploitation. But if you similarly just if you go to the public and I said like I exploited the API, got this much of data, then might be you are as a threat actor or maybe a dangerous person. Police might come at your house, or better go with the policy not to cross it. And if you still feel like okay, I need to report this, I need to report that, so better to have a permission and then only proceed. Without permission, don't do anything, or else we live in India. That's very simple. So everything is like if you do small things might end up in a big charge. So be patient and just keep calm to report and just wait for the reply.
Right. So, because you have mentored a lot of students before within cybersecurity, you have a very big community under KongSec of professionals and students, right? Now, if
Right.
someone is a bug bounty hunter by profession and they are
Mhm.
looking to get a full-time job in cybersecurity, what are some ways where they can actually show their potential in the industry or any platforms which exist, where they can go and get a cybersecurity jobs? How can someone actually enter the industry from bug bounty hunting?
So in that process, it just like nowadays, even if you apply through the LinkedIn or any of job portals, I would still say like you will get automated rejections. That's a reality. So another part which is having the referral. But if you don't have any knowledge, if you're not shared anything to the community, or if you're not sharing any kind of knowledge, then it will not be visible to anyone. So in simple language, jo dikhega wahi bikega. So best part is like what you know should be shared to the other people, and that would be visible to the community. Or maybe you write the articles, maybe you share the videos or your research papers, and just post like I have done this. This is my research. Let me know your feedback. Take the feedback, modify, and upgrade your research. And definitely someone will surely see that. And if someone have the requirements, okay, maybe I need a person who can write a very technical content for the vulnerability exploitation and the 0 days. And this guy has been sharing a lot of stuff. Let me just ask him. So this is how it goes actually. You get highlighted when you share something. If you don't have anything, you are just sitting on bench. If you're sitting on the table and just waiting for the opportunity, it's not gonna work. Make sure what you know, share to the other. Write the articles. There are a lot of good platforms. I would say like Medium, there is Byte Blogger Base, and YouTube videos you can put for the Instagram reels, but make sure it should be useful and getting known by the people. Not really you can get the direct job. Highly possible you can get the good contract or good project opportunity, and might be you can get a very good monetary collaboration from big companies. So this is how you should process. End of the day, it's just like for the money. So you should know like how you should present yourself on the internet, and internet is very powerful. So this way I would say like go for it, and make sure the approach which you are using in bug bounties, that should not be directly used in corporate, because those are very different things. Once you start into the job, or once you start into this life, this is pretty different. So give a time to yourself, just not to run like this is my first day and mistakenly I removed the database from systems. So it doesn't work like that. So uh, be calm. And I have seen many people as a bug bounty hunters, they don't have the patience. So patience is a key. So this is where you should go.
So, just to summarize what you just now said, I think you mentioned two main things. One was that how a person can actually build their personal brand in
Right.
order to get identified by recruiters. That is
Mhm.
something which I would like to get a little deep into in some time. And then you mentioned that there are platforms like LinkedIn on which people will not find jobs just because that there is a scarcity of number of jobs available in the market, and there are so many applicants applying for jobs for the same
Right.
role, and it's very hard even for companies to identify if a person is actually good in real time or not. If
Mhm.
they don't have a particular certificate, then it's very hard for companies to actually know if someone is skilled or not, because they
Right.
don't really have real time vetting processes.
That's true.
Now, for a platform like Cyber Unbound, where
Mhm.
companies can efficiently and easily find talent based on the CTF challenges they are solving or the kind of experiences they have with certification,
Mhm.
what is your perspective that how is Cyber Unbound actually helping cybersecurity engineers get jobs, as well as in your opinion, from a
Mhm.
broad level idea, if you were a recruiter, would you hire from Cyber Unbound?
Yeah, in my case, like I have done a lot of good research on that, because I've seen many people who are not affordable to do a lot of certifications. They are very expensive, and sometimes maybe people find it very hard to complete that. And after spending a lot of money, they get failed. So, Cyberbound as a platform, I have seen like the people who are basically uh, good into the skills, they have their proper profiling, they can go on that. And absolutely if person is skillful and it is on a platform on the cyberbound, so I would say like yeah, I would go for it, because I need to get work done. It's not like okay, you should have this certificate, you should have that certificate, then only we are going to hire you. It's not like that. So it doesn't matter if you don't have any certificate, but make sure you are skillful what you have written. Because if you written like okay, I know the Linux, but in the beginning you don't know like what should be the beginning command, how you should look for the listing folders and everything, then it's like pretty bad. So basically write what you know, show what you know, and that's the basic skill. So I guess I remember like maybe 3 4 days back I asked for the data analyst role. I really don't know, I thought it might be for the cyber security only, but then I got to know okay, this is overall the IT profilings going on the cyberbound. So I said like okay, so yeah, you just need to create the profile. People can just find what skills you have, And yeah, that's pretty fast, things can go up. So yeah, absolutely, that's pretty nice.
Right. I think we are solving one of the main challenges within cybersecurity, which is getting the right talent, the right opportunity.
Right.
And I truly appreciate the kind words you shared. Now, coming back to the perspective of brand building, I think not long ago you were a student and you
Right.
completed your master's not too long ago, right? Um, since your master's, you have built a very, very strong reputation within cybersecurity.
Mhm.
Everyone knows who KongSec is, everyone knows who Mr. Aditya Shende is,
Right.
and I think I first met you at Hack the Box Bombay,
Right. Right.
where 50% of the audience was students. And
Mhm.
every single professional sitting in the room was excited to meet you. Everyone was like standing in a line
Right.
just to meet you, as if you are like a film star of cybersecurity, which you are. You're like Shah Rukh Khan of
Right.
cybersecurity.
Oh,
So
that's big.
right. So, I just want to understand how can people really build their brand within cybersecurity? Like, what's a roadmap? So, you mentioned multiple things. You mentioned people should do write-ups, people should do challenges, people should post regularly on Insta and LinkedIn. But if you had to summarize a roadmap, what would that roadmap be to build a personal brand in cybersecurity? Just like
Okay, so
KongSec.
yeah, the first primary thing would be your name. So many people know me as a Kongsec because everywhere the name has been spread up and it's a Kongsec. But many people don't know what my real name is. They are just focusing on the alias, what exactly going on. So first thing, like find something that can relate to your own thing and that can relate to the cyber security. So for me, for the personal part, like I watched the King Kong movies, Godzilla movies, and I like that big monkey. So that's a Kong, which is destruction and everything. So I said like, okay, Kong and the Sec. So security person with the Kong abilities. And once you find that name, initially like nobody knows nothing. Who is KongSec? What's going on? So whatever I share, whatever I show, it just go with the brand. Even if it's not, it just show like, okay, this is a concept, this is a concept. Everywhere they get, even if you have the merchandise, if you have the t-shirt, make sure you wear it. So people ask like, what is this? So this is how the basic process will go on. And instead of not to use a very fancy keyword like black devil, silver hawk, something like that, but make sure it should be a bit professional and looks very elegant, maybe a sharp on that. So find the name or make the name which should not be duplicated anywhere. And on that basis, you start sharing the stuff which you know. What stuff needs to be shared, not the written by other people, but what you have researched. So the stuff which I've shared, maybe I've shared one JavaScript article for the bug bounties in 2023. So that article literally boomed up. It goes like maybe 1.8k likes on Medium. Platforms on the Medium like getting 1.8k, like it was like a big thing for me, and crossing 3000 followers, it was big part. After that sharing that specific article, many people started recognizing, okay, this person is not only having with the big followers, but this is also sharing some stuff which is techniques. So to the researchers, to the bug bounty hunters, or the people who are in developing or maybe the coding, if you want to build a good brand or build a good profile in cybersecurity or whatsoever the field you are in, find the name and share your research that can be helpful for others. So there is a difference between research and findings. So I found the IDOR, that's a finding. And just writing an article like how I find multiple IDORs using this technique, how to do the JavaScripting, how to do the PHP analysis for the bug bounties. And that technique will be useful for others. So after that article, many people made the good amount of money and they said, okay, please start sharing more articles. So I made another 2.0 extreme edition for the JavaScripts only, and that got boom up also. So it's a big process by having your own research that can help to generate money to other people. End of the day, it's just like the money and how you are sharing. Because for an example, you have written the article like how to find SQL injection. That is a technique that is people going to replicate, and it should be very very detailed including the commands and everything. And if you write like SQL injection got me $3000 and you just showed the post request, you are able to exploit, and that's done, my article is done. So that's not what people are expecting. People expectations are like, can you give the technique, how you find it, Can you help me in that? Can you share the commands? So if you read that article, you can literally find all the commands, all the techniques, what is the definitions of it, and how you can use it. Make sure to include the screenshots and everything, and that's how you can go for it. And end of the part, you can just add your hashtag with your brand name, and yeah, that's enough. If you are getting maybe 100K views, people can see, okay, this is maybe a hashtag I can use, and I can just hashtag search for the ComSec, and I can get all the articles. So this is how it should go. Share the techniques, not the findings. And this is the biggest part to build a good brand in cybersecurity or any field, I would say. It's maybe medical engineering, maybe mechanical, whatsoever, but share the things which you know. That's the best.
Right. So I think you mentioned about the naming part, right?
Mhm.
That your alias is KongSec. Your company name is also KongSec.
Yeah.
So, what's your vision of your startup? What you do? Can you tell your audience about what KongSec as an organization does, as well as how were you able to such quickly upgrade your community from just few followers to now thousands and thousands of followers, which you have?
So basically, I put my name first as a ComSec, and then when I started sharing the articles and findings and how I did it, many people started like, I have a small project requirement. Can you please proceed for this? So in the beginning, for 1.5 year, I did good projects, personal projects, which people require for the pen testing, along with the big bounties. So I said, okay, why not to start it as an organization? It's not necessary to have a lot of people, but okay, just needs to be in a good flow, just not doing a random things like a script kiddie. So I said like, okay, the name is enough, but now it's time to upgrade. So let's get into the organization, and let's see how we can help the people, because requirements were very high that time. So I shifted to the organization. I said like, I have like 7 people at the moment. They are working totally remotely, and like every person have the different role, which is into the sales. Someone is in finance. Someone is only for the media and how to do the things. And then after another people who are they are into the pen testing. So all those people working remotely with their own comfort, delivering the best results. So I said, okay, another 6 months to get the people, the best people in the world, and good for us. Let's see how it works. And everyone have the different skill set. So then started to the main concept, and then I started jumping to the education training. Then I started jumping on corporate training, and after some time I found like, okay, community needs some upgrade now. So then I started KongSec merchandise. So that's the big flow which I've done. So that's the whole story behind it, and there are a lot of things coming up for the KongSec. So I'm just waiting for it.
Right. So, because this has been such an insightful conversation and such a, engaging piece of conversation where people have gotten to learn so much from your knowledge, and because you mentioned that there are a lot of things coming up, now I'm excited. So what's coming up for 2025? Would you like to drop some hints for your followers, for your audience?
Yeah,
What's the
that's
next big collaboration or partnership coming up?
so that's a big part which is related to the crypto and the blockchain, and it's for the Web3. So people must be excited for it, like what's going on the next to the concept. So let's wait and watch. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
And do you have any final piece of advice which you like to give to the ethical hackers, to the students, to the professionals watching your podcast before we wrap up today's engaging
Yeah.
conversation?
So I would still say the people who have started, people who wants to start, uh, make sure you remove the LinkedIn for a few months from your computer or maybe a laptop, because if you're doing a cyber security, the first beginner's approach is always the bug bounty, and they might get depressed on it because they see the lot of screenshots similar, like getting bounties, and they start comparison. So better remove the LinkedIn if you want to really share, if you want to really learn, just not getting depressed and frustrated. Better you can join the X. You can see a lot of people sharing a lot of good stuff. So remove the LinkedIn. That's the best part, I would say. Like for humans, join the X. You can start posting your article, writing your research on Twitter, and that's the best thing you can do. And apart from that, just the consistency and having something disciplined. So that's final, I would say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aditya, for such an insightful conversation. I'm sure a lot of the viewers who are watching today would have gotten to learn a lot of different things because I personally got to learn different things from you, especially how to build a brand in cybersecurity, what
Right.
to do and what to not do, especially with bug
Right.
bounty hunting. And I totally love the final advice which you shared is probably deactivate your LinkedIn for a few months.
It just got depression after all. Once you see the screenshot, like I reported the same bug, that kid reported the same bug, he got the bounty, but I didn't. So that's it's a human nature. So we have to, we have to avoid it to overcome this whole process. So it's gonna take a time, but it will be very peaceful once you get a lot of bunch of money in your pockets. So that's the best advice I can say in the beginning I can give.
Right. So thank you so much, Mr. Aditya. It was lovely having this conversation with you. I wish you all the best with KongSec, and I'm sure KongSec would be continuing the mission and will be helping a lot of students like it has helped in the past. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you today.